I'm also PowerPointless, but hopefully not pointless. I'm Beth Krieger, as I said. I'm the director of the IJ Clinic on Entrepreneurship. It's very appropriate that we're getting the handoff from the Exoneration Project, which was started by Lovi and Lovi, because I was going to tell you a story about a client of ours who's been handed off thanks to Lovi and Lovi. We have a client that's a barber college up on the north side of Chicago. I don't know if I've even connected with you on this. And it was started by a man named Juan Rivera, who learned barbering himself while in prison. And he was wrongfully incarcerated for 20 years. And when he got his settlement with help from amazing lawyers, for his wrongful imprisonment, he turned around and invested that money into creating a barber college in the community of Chicago to create an affordable way for people to learn how to be a barber and start their own businesses. So this is a dream client for us. It's our mission to work with entrepreneurs who are or have big dreams and tiny budgets, is what I say, where these businesses can be surprisingly complex and complicated, and the regulation around barbering and teaching barbering is no joke. So by working for a client like Legacy Barber College, our students are forming this close personal relationship with the entrepreneurs. On our last visit to that client, I got a message afterward that said it was like we were fairies that just descended upon them. They've got so many decisions to make to keep this business going. The internal relationships of the people who run the business need to be documented and structured. Lots of hard decisions there. Sometimes conflicts of interest that we have to figure out as professional responsibility. We're working on their contracts, their leases, their contracts with their workers, their employees. Any financing that comes in, we're going to help them process that, document that, make sure that it's structured in a way that's sustainable for them and that helps them grow. It's the mission of just about every one of our clients to create a business that makes a difference in the community. It's creating a new product. It's creating a new opportunity for customers in a neighborhood that hasn't been there. It's creating jobs for people who have a hard time getting employment in standard ways. And every step along that journey involves a lot of complexity, a lot of barriers put up by the law, by the government, to occupying a building, to getting the zoning correct, to getting the license, to following the law. And then, of course, the challenges of having contracts in place and building a foundation for that business that will really allow it to grow and do the good that it is designed to do. So our students get to work closely with us. Kathy Gritchen and I are the supervising attorneys, and we're working closely together with our teams of students, drafting and working through every word of a contract, counseling our clients through big decisions, researching into statutory law. We're really kind of wraparound in-house counsel for these small businesses. So for students who are interested in this world of transactional law, regulatory compliance, it's an opportunity to touch on employment, tax, corporate governance, regulatory compliance, all of it, because it all touches these small businesses and ambitious entrepreneurs in our community. So I'm going to pass it along to two of our 2Ls to tell you a little bit more about their experiences.
Hi, I'm Grant. I'm a 2L. I'm part of the IJ Clinic. I guess to start, I would say I think the IJ Clinic is a really great place if you're interested in transactional law and the intersection between transactional law and, I guess I'll say, social justice, even though that can be a loaded term. But I think you get the impression like transactional law is always going to be corporate. You're going to be working with a lawyer as the other party, like the in-house counsel of some big company. And, you're kind of going to be supporting the corporate wheel. But I think the IJ Clinic really shows that transactional law, can also be a tool for social justice when we are working with these low-income entrepreneurs who don't really have access to any other lawyers or really any other outside advisors more generally. So Beth mentioned that we kind of serve as a wraparound counsel. The major client that I work with is a combination client. They have a nonprofit arm and then they have a cooperative arm. So Beth mentioned conflicts of interest. I know that's like a big topic in transactional, and that really comes up a lot with this client, but the vast majority of the members of this cooperative don't speak English at all. So I have to communicate with them in Spanish, translate the law to them in Spanish, and then kind of be the conduit for them to kind of have those more formal communications with either like an alderman's office or the mayor's office, somebody that they're looking to get a loan. So it really is kind of, you see like the extreme barriers that these things that seem simple to us, these transactions that might seem kind of straightforward and easy to accomplish, like really how much of a huge barrier that can be in some of these people's lives. And being able to kind of facilitate that is, it's very fulfilling. And also, so in addition to like, if you're interested in social justice and transactional law, also if you just want to like work on your emotional intelligence, because I don't think that's really something that we focus on in law school. And like, this is going to force you to work with people who don't know much about the law, and they might see you as coming from a very different place. So it's very easy to become like the killjoy in that environment. Like I remember I was working with the clinic over the summer and just like going into a meeting and they have all of these grand ideas and you have to be the person to say like, that's not really in alignment with the law. Figuring out how to do that in a way where you seem like somebody's partner rather than like, oh, this authority figure coming from the University of Chicago, coming to our neighborhood and telling us all these things we can't do and all the things the city is going to stop us from doing. Like that can happen in any environment. It will happen with a corporate client as well. But I think learning it in this kind of environment, it's extremely challenging. But once you like, get the hang of it, you'll really see like that second layer of being a lawyer, which is building a relationship with the client and making them feel safe and comfortable. So that's kind of the biggest lesson I've learned in the clinic. And if you're interested in that, I think it's a good place. And also any Spanish speakers, please join because that's really helpful.
Well, they're switching places. I would say that we also, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but Margaret's been involved in this. Like you heard from Professor Siegler, we're working not only on our direct client representation, but we're also working on policy issues that affect entrepreneurs more broadly. Some of those issues we learn about from our clients and some through our community outreach. So we helped write the law about whether people are allowed to have businesses in their homes in Chicago. We've helped change the law for people who are making food out of their homes, helped change the law in Illinois. Just this past year, we passed 2 bills that are reforming occupational licensing, like for barbers, so that the state is giving a hard look at those laws and making sure that they're not unintentionally creating inequities in the system by requiring these really costly qualifications for people just to start a job. So legislative drafting, lobbying, advocacy, just thinking about that policy picture is also an opportunity that students have.
Yeah, well, that's a great segue. I was going to talk a little bit about the policy work that I had the opportunity to do over the past few quarters. So we had a client who, well, I guess it's transformed into a policy issue at this point, broader than one client, where we are working on making it easier for people who want to sell food on the street corner to be able to do so. And what I found in diving into that project is it's incredibly hard to do that. And it's not necessarily clear cut who is the authority that's responsible even for changing the rules on that. So if there's any policy folks here, this is a great opportunity to dive into the different bodies that are available and the rules that they create and figure out how to untangle that puzzle. But I also wanted to follow up on what Grant was saying about the clients that you get to work with in this clinic. I think that the grouping of this, the IJ clinic with the exoneration clinic and the federal criminal justice clinic really makes sense in the sense that the people that we're helping in this clinic are those who are who are leaders in their community and trying to build something, whether it's community or they have some sort of mission that's tied to their work, and getting to be a part of those problems that they're trying to work through and to create something that's bigger than the law or bigger than business is really special. And it's hard, you know, as Grant said, to come in and make sure that you're not the deal killer and you're figuring out a way to make those dreams reality. But it's been very rewarding in that way. And then also just having a community at the law school that you know, we have a smaller law school, but if you can shrink that community even more, the depth of feedback and relationships that you form, I think ends up really sticking with you for the rest of the time.
So thank you so much.